Coming to this leading story as well today, attacks on freight trucks continue. At least 20 have been set alight in recent days. The Police Ministry and SAPS management are due to brief the nation on their response, and Heidi Giokos will be there. She joins me now, though, to, of course, talk about what's happening on our roads and highways ahead of that briefing by the police department. Heidi, good morning to you, colleague. The big question is, will the police department have answers for us? Do they know who exactly could possibly be behind these torches and setting alight of trucks?
Yes, exactly, Tumelo. It's going to be imperative and very critical for the South African Police Service to really get to the bottom of this and bring calm to the situation. As you've mentioned, we do understand that almost 20 trucks have been torched over the last couple of days. Just over Sunday and Monday, we do understand that there were 16 trucks that have been torched, and now the recent in Mpumalanga. It seems as though the attack started in KwaZulu-Natal. We're not exactly sure what is causing this and who is behind this, but there's a lot of panic, and the reason for this is because just recently, just this past weekend, it marked 2 years since the July unrest that we saw, and it also in similar ways started with the torching of trucks and the attack on these trucks. But we have been seeing some sort of attack on these trucks for some time now, and not really understanding who is behind all of this. What's interesting, though, is that the Deputy President, Paul Mashatile, has made utterances that they are aware of who could possibly be behind this. So we'll obviously get a sense from the police. I did get a glimpse of the Provincial Police Commissioner, Elias Mawela, just a short while ago. So it is, of course, going to have to be a collective effort in terms of trying to bring the situation under control. We also do know that it's heavily armed people that seem to be attacking these trucks, especially there in KwaZulu-Natal, where we did see the first attacks over the last 2 days or so. It's obviously detrimental. It's very worrisome. And previously we did get indications of the army having been deployed, especially during the July unrest and the instability that it brought to our economy and just to daily lives. So is that going to be the case this time around? Do the police have enough force to control the situation? Because it seems as though it keeps happening in the early hours of the morning. That seems to be the similar trend that we are seeing. So what are police doing about this? Who is behind this, and how are they going to stop this?
Yeah. I spoke to Chris de Kock earlier on, Heidi, a independent crime expert. He said this phenomenon is not new to South Africa. It dates back to at least 10 years ago, if not further back. The big question is, with just a year's anniversary of the July unrest, it seems South Africa is losing confidence in law enforcement. Will we get answers as South Africans in terms of convictions if to date we still don't know the masterminds of, the July unrest? Pamandla reminding us that 27 trucks just last year alone during that period in KwaZulu-Natal being torched, being set alight, but nothing in terms of convictions. Hopefully, even with this task team set up by the president to investigate the torching of trucks, will give us something beyond just briefings about investigations.
Yes, that's exactly it. And how many more task teams are we going to have established and put in place? Because clearly these task teams are not really getting to the bottom of this. What happened in July of 2021 was detrimental. Tumelo, we saw how many lives being lost because of that unrest. And very soon after that, we saw further torching of trucks and some instability when it came to truck drivers. There's a lot of speculation about what could be behind this and who could be behind this, but at the end of the day, it's up to the authorities to really investigate this. And you touch on an important point. South Africans are looking at the situation and going, there's so much that's happened, and we've seen no real arrests behind the masterminds of, for example, the July unrests. What exactly is actually going on here? Do we have control of our systems in place, if there are any systems in place at this particular point? So it's going to be imperative for us, even as journalists, to really put pressure on the police minister and all other stakeholders involved to really understand what is behind all of this. This cannot continue. This is detrimental to our already struggling economy. You can only imagine what these truck drivers are also going through. I also do understand that Sasria, who paid out billions to many, many businesses and companies during the July unrest, all that damage, has made it very clear that they are not in a position to be able to do the same should there be a repeat of the July unrest. And in no way are we insinuating that there is a repeat of the July unrest, but these are incidents that are very concerning and very alarming, given it started on Sunday night or in the early hours of Monday morning. It's Wednesday today, and we've seen almost 20 trucks being torched.
All right, we'll leave it there, Heidi Giokos. Hopefully 12 o'clock will bring us some answers as we look to hear what that briefing has to say in terms of what's being done right now with the torching of trucks. Any intelligence, any leads with regards to investigations, any arrests that we can expect. We'll look towards 12.